Okay,
And
it says
then
we're live
when you
now.
push the button, there will be this tremendous explosion.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
That's your computer freaking out. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Oh, joy.
And then okay, do you have the watch link channel, whatever thing? So we can shout that out on Twitter.
Oh, do you mean like my? Oh my goodness, yes.
Where this program is showing on YouTube.
Yeah, I just put it in. Oh,
you did? Oh, great, perfect.
Oh my goodness.
I'll tweet it out. And then you can retweet.
Okay.
Oop-a-doop. Where's the button?
Let's see.
There we go. I tweeted it out.
Yay!
And now my Twitter app is freaking out. That's lovely.
Oh Lord. Okay, wait a minute. I want to copy that. Let's see what we've got going over here.
I streaming a standing Catholicism. It's so hard to keep track.
There we are. Okay, I've got it up here on. We've got 4 watching.
Okay.
And I'm going to share this out on the Twitter.
The Twitter. Oh, what is it? I think one of my uncles likes to refer to it as the tweeter.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, no, never done one of these before.
God, there are so many recovering Catholics and ex-Catholics out there. I tell you, it's crazy. I'm an ex-Catholic, by the way. And I gave up Roman Catholicism for Lent about, 20, 25 years ago. I never looked back.
Oh, gosh. No, what was it? I think I officially stopped going after I went off to college, but I was, not really into it. After, like, I got to the confirmation process, and
oh boy,
well, for a year they kept it just like having us watch this series of videos on celibacy. Like, and I tried to ask honest questions, and they were like, "Yeah, I don't know," and I'm like, "That does nothing. That does nothing for me here." But so then I was like, "Hey, Mom, I don't think this is working out." And she was thankfully super understanding and like, "Yeah, that's fair."
Yeah, I couldn't say anything until I was living by myself, living out on my own, because those two didn't give me as much of a problem for being an atheist as they did for being trans, but they still gave me a problem.
Yeah.
And it would not have been pretty had I, at an earlier age said, "Hey, Mom, hey, Dad, I don't believe in your God. Sorry."
Yeah.
But one thing I'm curious about, and I don't know, maybe I should save some of the questions because I'm definitely going to want to see if I can get you on Coffee with Lavender. But where was I going with this now?
Good question.
Yeah, I forget where I was going. Okay, so it will be a mystery until my show. How's that sound? This is what happens when you get old. Yeah, the mind is the first to go.
Oh yeah. No, for me, my body's already gone. Like I'm 24 and I walk with a cane. So.
Oh no.
Yeah, I actually have 3 lovely ones. I got one for Christmas. This is one of the models that I'm using, and it's collapsible, which is always useful.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that I could trust a collapsible cane, but
See, the cane and I understand each other because, much like it, I am also collapsible. Because I just fall, which is very startling for my family members, especially my younger sister. But it's just kind of like
When you go, how much pain do you get?
Oh, how much? I have a beanbag on my back right now. Sitting up straight is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have arthritis, periodic paralysis, and fibromyalgia.
Ow, 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 ow,
Yeah.
ow, ow, ow.
And that's on top of the asthma and these food allergies that are so severe. My office is actually trying to get me permission to work from home all week rather than just 4 out of the 5 days. Yeah.
Oh,
But
fun.
on the plus side, it did make my brief bout of cancer seem even more ridiculous. It's positive. Oh, and the thyroid issues. I forgot about that one.
That's really weird.
Man.
Yeah, it's a fun time. Oh, yeah. No, good times. There's a nurse up at my at the hospital near my old college that knew me by symptom description, and he would just come by and he'd be like, "Hey, Bridget."
Jesus Christ.
Shout out to good old RN Phil, honestly. Like, what a dude.
That is just when somebody knows you by a description of your malady. Yeah, it's like, oh Lord.
Oh yeah, it was, and honestly, like, he was a relief compared to like the new nurses that wouldn't know me, like, because one of the most memorable ones was my sophomore year of college. I had to go to the hospital like just past midnight on Valentine's Day. And my roommate took me in, and this nurse in triage kept glancing over at my roommate and asking, "Is there anyone who's hurting you?" And I'm like, "What?" No, you have my hospital record right there. Like, this is a frequent occurrence. And also, why are you asking if the person you think is abusing me is right here?
Mm.
Yeah.
Like, you're not being subtle about it. Thankfully, my roommate was not doing that and was oblivious to this until I pointed out to her later. But it was still just kind of like, that's a new one. Yeah. Just, oh.
Now, happily, I haven't had to see the inside of a hospital all that much. I mean, there was that little bit in September, but it had been years. And that's nice because I'm not a fan of hospitals.
Yeah. I mean, they don't like it if you are a fan of them, though. So, not a bad thing.
Yeah, I saw the insides of too many hospitals when I was younger, when I was in my early to mid 20s. I had the whole thing going on where I whacked my head on an oak floor and it aggravated. There was something going on where I had too much brain material up there. And I'm serious.
Yeah. You got too much going on here.
Something swelled and it short circuited something else, and motor seizures all over the place and everything else. Yeah, I spent a month in hospital when I was 18, and I sometimes wonder what would have happened had things gone the way I kind of wanted them to go at the time, because there was a candy striper there who was kind of nice, really, and she liked me too, but yeah, those two stepped in the middle as they always did. But then, considering what I am now and how different it is to what I was then, what would have ended up going on?
Would have been interesting.
Could have been interesting. Yeah, it's like, hey, hon, I'm transitioning. And it's like,
yeah.
Okay.
There's actually there's somebody I follow on Twitter, and her wife announced that she was transitioning to a woman, and then a couple months later, their child was like, "Yeah, same." And she's really sweet. I feel bad that I don't remember her name, but I like following her and her wife on Twitter, especially when they're talking back to people being transphobic. Like, they warm my heart.
There's no reason to fear us. I mean, geez,
No!
transphobia, no.
You just want to pee. Like,
yeah, really, that's what it comes down to.
Like, I don't understand. There's a friend of mine, and she has gotten to the point of frustration where she is just writing "girl" in eyeliner on her forehead because of somebody.
Oh man!
And I'm like, you go, girl. But also, that shouldn't be the case. Like you have to put effort in to be that much of a dick.
Absolutely. Now, I was doing something wrong over the last week or so. I was getting misgendered with regularity, but probably part of it was because it was kind of chilly, and I was in the heavy jacket and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so what I took to unzipping the jacket while shopping in Walmart. You know, okay, how's this?
No, I happen to be cis myself, but the closest I could get to understanding the frustration is when a woman who I had email correspondence with at work kept repeatedly referring to me as Mr. Like, I put Miss in my email signature. This person kept repeatedly calling me Mr.
What the fuck?
I'm like, are you serious? Like, you my full name right here. Like,
that's always the fun one.
And it's and I can't imagine having to deal with that in person all the time, because even just those couple of weeks of dealing with that woman was irritating enough. Mm-hmm. Like, it just pisses me off.
I get it in some respects. I am constantly misgendered over the phone. And it's the voice. I mean, I'm not sounding like this or anything, which might be a little bit easier to get the gender right. And, oh yeah, you're a girl. Okay, no problem. Yeah. But what's really fun is what is your name? Diana. Okay, sir. I said my name is Diana. And
no, it's just like come on. Yeah, my friend's name is like Amelia, and it's like, you're just trying here now. Like, you are putting effort. You're putting effort into your ignorance here. At that point, like, if you have to put that much effort into your ignorance, maybe you need a hobby. There's no need for
that. A hobby of cross-dressing Ken. The Barbie and Ken dolls. Just put her in him in Barbie's clothes, and that's what you can do all day.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know if anybody's ever tried that. Come to think of it.
Oh my gosh! No.
Anyway,
like, people, man, people. I don't
people who don't need people are the luckiest people.
Reindeers are better than people.
Okay.
And don't you think I'm right?
Nice. I like it.
Thank you.
And then Dave is just there, soaking everything in. Right?
Just take it all in.
That sounds real bad. Oh, shit.
Ow.
How's everybody doing in the listen in, huh? Where do we have all this?
Let's see here.
We've got Amiga Nuts. We've got, I don't know if I know you, AKL.
AKL, interesting.
And Taylor Badco, I see, has just come in. Hi. How are ya? How are ya?
And thank you, Sharp Atheist, for pointing out that it is my first time streaming, because, I've never done this.
Sharp Atheist is Pirate Kitty.
I was just about to say, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I don't know that.
She switches between her phone and her Laptop?
Makes sense. How?
What? No. There is just something intrinsically
Father's
wrong
PC.
with that statement.
She barks.
She said, yeah, I accidentally kicked myself out of the stream, but I have to be muted because I am barking a lot. Okay, fine.
Oh my gosh. I actually won a bet for Halloween in church last night.
Oh, no.
No. Because as a very tiny tot, during Hark the Herald Angels Sing, I had howled in it, like in Snoopy. Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown. And my sister turned to me at the end of the Mass yesterday, because that's just something that I'll do for my parents. Like, I'll go at Christmas and Easter and then not any other time. And so my sister turned to me and she was like, I will give you $6 if you howl during that song.
Okay, so what, you were hungry or something and you needed the $6?
No, I just really love like sticking it to her because she didn't think that I would do it. Oh, add back to the stream. Okay, you're in. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, it's working. Okay, there it goes.
Yay!
Yeah, I've caught a 6, and so the joke with my family is I don't sneeze and cough, I squeak and bark. Because I sneeze and it's like, achoo! And then I might cough and it's like this deep. I've been smoking for 30 years chest cough, even though I've only smoked for like 3 years and I quit 6 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
sorry.
Now, after having smoked that short a time, do you have cravings?
No, not really.
Because I'm dealing with the cravings. I quit a year and a half ago. I had been smoking 49 years. And then I said, okay, no more Clarion. That's that. And whenever I'm under stress, I crave a cigar.
See, I don't anymore at all. I quit after about 15.
Well, I would imagine
I don't crave at all anymore.
After, I mean, I didn't quite quit cold turkey. I quit and then I went back and quit and went back because I never bought into that whole you have to quit cold turkey thing because that's what causes people to have troubles. You know, when you crave a cigarette, go ahead and have a cigarette. Just don't buy yourself a pack.
Yeah,
it's very much like in dieting when they like, even though they claim don't have any of this, if you do not give your body what it wants briefly at least, then you're just going to like overhaul it.
I was thinking the psychology of that as well. You have the one thing and you think, oh shit, I've screwed it up. I'm going to have a load of this as well.
Right, and that's what I avoided with that. It's like if I had a cigarette, oh well, I'll start quitting again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because what I'm afraid of is if I allow myself a cigar, I just won't quit.
Yeah.
If you've not smoked for a year and a half, then you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is that
it's valid while you're leaving.
Yes, somebody offered at one point, said, "Hey, you want a little drag on this joint?" And I had to think for a little while, and I said, "No, I'd better not, because two things could happen. Number one, I could cough a lung out, and number two, I would be back to craving the smoking stuff and things, and that would not be good." It was like there was somebody that kind of, without actually doing it, kind of pushed me toward or nudged me toward quitting. Basically when she said, "Yeah, you're a smoker. No way is it happening." I said, "Well, I was thinking of quitting anyway, so I might as well quit. Even if nothing happens, I've quit."
At least you as long as you try, honestly, and you've made it this far.
It gets bad sometimes, though. I do smoke in my dreams.
I mean,
and that's annoying. Because I can feel the sensation. I can taste that burning leaves sort of taste and everything else in the dream. So many people say they can't taste or feel or whatever things. I can. and yeah, it's I'm in the dream, and it's like, why am I doing this?
Why? Eh, I don't remember the last time I dreamed. Mostly because it was just nightmares, but
Oh
I didn't have
no,
enough sleep.
you as well. Yeah, nightmares, constant nightmares.
Yeah. Gotta love it when that stuff starts kicking in. But I've been working on Christmas gifts that I was making to the point of exhaustion, which isn't good, but it's also kind of like, you know, just a great anxiety inducing thing.
Mm.
But thankfully the two people whose gifts didn't get finished are very understanding, and they're like, it's okay.
We can
We
wait
just
till next year.
Yeah, that is one of the things they said. They were like, Bridget, don't kill yourself over these. And I'm like, close. But my at least one of like my uncle, who I had also handmade a gift for, he really liked it, so that was good.
Yay!
Yeah,
Yay!
because I taught myself to embroider this year, and I embroidered a handkerchief for him with his name on it.
Nice. I
Yeah.
haven't done that in ages. The last time I did any embroidery, I was in high school.
Oh, it's
The
get back
cone and
into it.
cross
It's
stitch
fun.
I've done in between.
Yeah.
I'm working on a piece, 40,000 stitches. The Great Wave, with the boats being tossed around.
Yes. Okay. I think I'm familiar with it.
That one in cross stitch is what I'm working on at the moment.
That's amazing.
And I'll probably finish it in about 6 or 7 years at the rate I'm going.
I mean,
But
it's something.
at least it's not something that the little one is ripping apart.
The little one?
Her kitten.
Sylvia, the kitty.
Oh my god.
Oh, I just realized that you remember that cat, Diana, that was up in my face the last time I was on a stream with the camera?
Okay.
Her name is Sylvia too.
Ah.
That is so cool.
I found this one behind the building I was living in a wooded area. First she was under a car, and I was hearing, and I'm walking around. Finally, there's this vaguely kitten-shaped object underneath the car. A couple days later, I'm taking the garbage out again, and there she is in that little wooded area. Maybe about 12 weeks old, judging by the way she looked and everything. But because I found her near a wooded area, near a forest, became Sylvia, from the Sylvan, the Latin. It stuck with her, and she's the good kitty. And where the hell is she? My Miranda and my Ariel used to come when called. I would do that whole thing with a and there they are. Well, what had happened when I got them as tiny kittens, maybe they were 6 or 7 weeks old. When I would feed them, I would just be playing around, and I would make the cat noises. I'm pouring the food, and I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Okay, Pavlov. So every time I would do that, they would come running. So the person who later became my partner and is now my ex, when she was first visiting me, they come when called. No, they don't. Yeah, they do. We're sitting on the edge of the bed getting ready for bed, and I said, hold my beer. Wham! 2 cats right in the room.
Oh.
They come when called. Yeah, you just have to know how to call them. That's all.
You just need to learn their language.
Right, I need to run away. I have to sleep.
Ow! Enough fun.
It's 2:30 in the morning. I've got to sleep.
Well, have a good night.
Oh my word!
Yeah, thank you very much.
Night, sweetness.
Night, Dave.
Until tomorrow.
We can have a show on Boxing Day.
I think we're carrying on for a bit. I think by the time I wake up, they'll be still going. So I'll jump in then.
You know
Right.
what I'm going to do? While you're going
Right.
off to bed, I'm going to get another glass of sodium bicarbonate because I still have the heartburn. I had
Ooh.
Fix
too
it.
many peanuts and chocolate.
All right,
Be right
catch you all tomorrow.
back.
Bye, Dave.
Oh my goodness. I'm sharing this on Facebook.
Oh.
Live now. Eat. There you go. Oh my goodness. It's been a long day.
Yes, it has.
My family likes to take unwrapping stuff really nice and slow. And this year it took us 2 hours and we took breaks, which is fine by me because sitting up is painful, but it was still a lot.
I think it only took my family 5 minutes to unwrap because,
Yeah.
well, most of the presents were for my mom,
Oh,
and she passed away on the 19th.
yeah.
So I ended up, luckily, I mean, most of it was house stuff. Like this was for mom, and it's a new frying pan set. So they just gave
Yeah.
that stuff to me and said, "Here, you open it."
Oh,
So
yeah. I'm so sorry for your loss, by the way, which I know is the cliche and not really all that helpful statement, but send you many condolences.
Oh, I see. We're talking about Lost Christianities over in the side chat. It's been a while since I've read that. I've got a copy of it here.
What is it? Is it a book?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you familiar with Bart Ehrman?
No, I've
Oh,
avoided as much religion as I can possibly do, except for like my family and everything.
he's a fine New Testament scholar. He's not religious at all. I
Okay.
believe he may not call himself atheist, but he is effectively atheist now.
Okay.
But yes, he wrote Lost Christianities. He wrote Forged on how people were writing eponymously into the scriptures. Did Jesus exist? It's another one he wrote. A lot of
That
people
sounds
don't like that one, but
Yeah.
a lot of mythicists don't like it because Ehrman is not a mythicist.
Mhm.
If you want to call him anything, he seems to think that Jesus was a legendary figure. He does not, as far as I can see, he doesn't accept the scriptural Jesus, the magical guy.
Yeah.
He thinks there was a Jesus out there somewhere, and he said
or a
wicked
couple of guys
things.
that equated
Yeah.
to one.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you really look at like the descriptions of Jesus and everything, he sounds like just about any cult leader. So I mean,
Oh, I see that AKL says, yeah, oh, my word. Excuse me, please.
oh, he calls himself agnostic.
Calls himself agnostic,
Yeah.
yes.
I would go with that. I'm like, I think
He eggs himself colnostic.
Yeah. I would say I'm agnostic, where it's like there could be something bigger than myself, but it's not really my duty to go and find it, let alone worship it. Like,
Yeah,
that would
he
only
did.
make you be that would make you almost be an what's the word? Eptivist?
Oh, epistivist.
Epistivist. It's like it's not even worth trying to figure out.
Well,
Yeah.
no, the epistivist is the person who does not use faith as a means to make decisions, who does not take anything on faith.
Yeah.
And you were recently talking to the person who coined that word.
Oh, okay.
That was Kate that coined that word.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, she says if it ever finds its way into the dictionary, she will be validated.
Yeah.
I am definitely an epistivist.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've got like I'm writing a musical just on like, I don't know, hypotheses on what I would imagine I'd want death to be like and like the afterlife. But it's like, I don't know if it's real. That doesn't matter. Like who cares to like try and be a good person whether or not there's a reward system at the end? Like,
well, I prefer a situation where there was no reward at the end for being
yeah,
a good girl or a good boy, because if you're being a good boy or a good girl for the reward,
yeah.
then you're not really being honest about it, are you?
No, you're not. Like there's a difference between like, okay, you're donating to charity to get some sort of gift, and you're being a decent human being because you think that you're going to get eternal whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like that just is like, oh, okay, so you don't actually mean any of this stuff you're saying or doing.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, the song has it, be good for goodness sake, just because
Yes.
it's the thing to do. And I get into all the arguments with the crazy Christians with, you have no morality basis, you have no foundation. Of course we have.
I don't even think a foundation matters.
Well, the whole thing is, I think it's called utilitarianism.
Mm-hmm.
Um, an action is good or moral if it somehow promotes well-being or reduces unnecessary pain, and an action is bad, immoral, if it reduces well-being or increases needless suffering. And look, it's easy to tell. I can't stand this I-10 Bruggencate type people. Well,
Oh,
how do you know what's good, or anybody? Is it just what people decide it is? And Nazism was good to the Nazi. No, asshole.
No.
Look, if I stomp on your foot, what are you going to do? You're going to scream in pain. Why are you going to scream in pain? You do that because it hurts.
Yeah.
So this is how I know that what I did reduced your well-being. It caused you pain.
Yeah.
And the whole thing goes similarly. When someone is in tears, you've seen me in tears more than once. It's very often because this person is not happy.
Yeah.
You're sad about something. I mean, when Jeff died, I was wailing and just not crying, and you kind of knew that I was a little bit upset.
Just a smidge.
Yeah, and it's this whole empathy thing that we're built with it.
Yeah.
And not only are we built with it, our ancestors are built with it. The simians,
Yeah.
other in that lineage. I mean, for fucking sake, Sylvia has empathy, and she's a cat.
No, actually, I have an uncle who does not believe empathy to be inherent. He thinks that you have to learn it, and so he claimed that my mom, a teacher, needed to be empathetic to a family member who lost someone because there was no way that my father could do it. Even though my dad is one of the most empathetic people I've ever known. And my mom was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, well, with your training as a teacher, like, no, that's not, I don't think there's an empathy 101 class that you need to take to be a teacher. And
I don't know.
You wouldn't need one anyways to just be empathetic.
And that's an interesting point that you bring up, though. Is it the case that maybe the predisposition toward empathy is there, but you need to develop it somehow? Just as I wonder, is it possible to teach disordered thinking?
Disordered thinking?
Yeah, if schizophrenic thinking, if you will. If you fill a kid's head with nonsense.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely possible.
And then this comes to my mind, I'm thinking about this in the sense of the discussion that's been going on recently, the connection between religion and mental illness.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that religion is a mental illness.
No.
Religion can be a symptom of mental
Religious
illness.
fervor, I think, could be a symptom.
Say again.
Religious fervor. I don't know. If
Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Fervor can be, and it is actually. I took. I was a minor in psychology, and I'm planning to go back to school for getting a master's in it. But religious fervor can be seen as a symptom of various illnesses, anxiety or depression, or not necessarily bipolar disorder, but in the times of a up episode, manic, in times of the manic episodes, as well as schizophrenia, religious fervor can be seen as a symptom of a growing issue.
Yeah, I have known many schizophrenics. I mean, these people have actual diagnoses.
Yeah.
Who are rabid religionists or who also carry Bibles around like teddy bears.
Yeah.
They actually hug them to themselves.
It can become a comfort system as well as a hindrance.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, oh, well, if I do this, according to this book, if I do something like this, I will feel better. And it becomes like a habitual sort of thing. Or it can also be, they think that, like, say if there's somebody who has like auditory hallucinations and they're hearing voices, they may feel more comfortable believing that to be angels or the voice of God rather than something actually going on with their mind.
Mm-hmm.
Which is unfortunate, and it can be extraordinarily damaging to them.
Yeah.
Like,
and those that they affect.
If they are surrounded by people who encourage that sort of thought.
There you go. Because this is what I was thinking. If you have a couple people who are raging schizophrenics, and they produce a kid and fill that kid with the deluded thinking, the deluded worldview, if you will, they are doing that kid a tremendous disservice.
Oh yeah.
And what I really want to do is I want to do some study into this and sort of get the idea worded well enough that I can present it well.
Yeah.
And have a discussion with Shannon, because there's no religion is not a mental illness or anything. I think I'm not sure, she may be suggesting that there's no connection at all. Whereas I'm thinking that maybe there could be.
There's a connection. There's definitely a connection to the religious fervor, the intensity of the belief, and mental illness, especially when it comes to more adrenaline-based stuff. So like anxiety and manic episodes, if it is adrenaline-based, and there are certain dopamine releases, it will cause them to seek out religion to help, as well as the experiences they have. They may think of it as signs from God.
Yeah, the more I think back on it, the more I wish that I would not have crashed and burned when I was seeking my PhD. I was looking for a PhD in neuroscience. And that's another thing that I would love to study, the connection between religious fervor and brain problems. And the other one, I'd love, the biological basis of gender. And then, the original thing I wanted to study was affective disorders. Guess what took me out? But that's another story.
No.
Scheisse.
The fact that you made it to a PhD program, though, is impressive, considering those are like specifically stress inducing enough that it like kills people. Like, I have a friend who had been in the PhD program for biology, but he decided that the stress of trying to get it was actually too much. And thankfully had found a passion for teaching instead and decided to get a teaching certificate instead.
Okay, and for a while I thrived on that stress.
Yeah.
I dearly loved it. The problem is, I am the kind of person who tries to do too much. I'm the kind of person who tries to do everything, and I have a feeling that contributed to my ultimate demise. I'm stretching myself way too thin, and there just wasn't enough of me to cover it all.
Oh yeah. No, I can definitely feel that with my own anxiety, like all the time, always have been.
Because I mean, by
AKL pointed out, yeah, having a community telling a person that fantasies are real definitely does contribute to the mental problems. Like we were saying, it's
yeah.
Because like, oh gosh, no, it's definitely because I know with at least the youth group that I had been a part of, which I talked about on Big Nose Above's channel, Life Teen, they actually did like they tried to encourage like going like they tried to constantly encourage the thought process of being a martyr like all the time for everything.
Ow.
To the point of damaging people's physical health, specifically my own.
Then.
Like they tried to deny me taking my asthma inhaler. And instead of getting me to a hospital during an asthma attack, they performed an exorcism. Of course. Yeah.
Oh my word! Why is this becoming more popular? It seems that exorcisms are becoming popular again.
This was in 2009, 2008, 2009.
Okay.
2009, definitely.
Amiga Nuts, I did read some Ramachandran, but this was a while back. I'm gonna have to go back and read some of that stuff again.
Yeah,
no, this was maybe about. Well, I was at uni back in the mid '90s. So
I was born
a while ago. Oh, okay. I got my baccalaureate in '96.
I was born in '95.
Oh man, now you're making me feel old. Kate makes me feel old. Now you make me feel old. Oh, scheisse.
I'm little. Very.
So, okay, this would have been, the exorcism, aka, was about to ask what the year was. So if you were born in 95, this would have been about 2015?
This was, the exorcism was in 2009 when I was 12.
Oh, I remember you talking about that now when you were on Neil's show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was on his show and I talked about it. Yeah. It was quite the weekend. Especially with the lady who then, after the nosebleed the next day, said that I'm just a baby.
Yeah, this was at a religious camp or something like that, wasn't it?
Yes, it was at the Stephenville Youth Conference. It's still held every year, and it's in Ohio. I was away from my family this whole time. My family had no idea I was there. Well, they knew I was there. Like, I didn't just run off. They didn't know what was happening there, especially since I couldn't really get a hold of them. And
I'm sure that was by design.
Oh, I believe absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But then also my priest didn't go on this trip because at the time he was caring for, I think it was his mother or it was the elderly priest, because he was trying to keep the elderly priest from having to be sent to a home. And so he was taking care of him by himself. And so he didn't go on this trip and he didn't see the insanity that went down. Like,
oh, I take it he would not have approved.
No, the priest that I had then, and also the priest that my family sees now, let's just say they're a bit rebellious. He
Franciscans?
they're they're Roman Catholic still, but they disagree with uh, discrimination to the point that the priest that was at my old church, he was informed that the Vatican had put out you had to declare that homosexuality was evil, that gay marriage is awful, and he was like, "Do I have to personally deliver this sermon?" Because they had written out the sermon that you had to say. And he was like, "Do I have to deliver it myself?" And the cardinals were like, "Oh, no. You can bring in any priest you want to do it." He was like, "Perfect." So he got a openly gay priest and sarcastically deliver the whole thing as well as give his own homily.
Oh God, I love it.
Which was to the effect, basically, so that was all bullshit. I loved that dude.
Oh wow.
And unfortunately, that priest had to move on before I felt courageous enough to tell him all of the atrocities of the youth group I was in.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it was taken over by somebody who is currently on leave due to sex abuse scandals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would Catholicism be without sex abuse scandals?
Yeah. And meanwhile, but my mom had gotten a funny feeling from the new guy, and I had gotten a funny feeling from the new guy. She gave it like 3 masses, and then she was like, nope, we're not staying here anymore, and switched churches, which is a good thing. And the priest at the place that they go to now is really good, and he also does stuff like that where he'll be told to do something explicitly, and then he'll be like, I've been told I have to say this word for word.
Okay. And
there we go. And he gives it the most dry, like, and honestly, if it hadn't been for the youth group that I had been in, I probably would have stayed Catholic longer. But
okay.
but they showed me the crazy side of that whole thing, which, it was bound to come up, but they certainly brought it a lot sooner.
Yeah, you remind me. There was a priest, an itinerant priest. He served a couple parishes in the area.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was a Benedictine, but my cousin served mass for him, and I did. We were both altar boys.
I was an altar girl. Yeah.
And I wonder how Father Anselm would view the Catholic Church of today, because my cousin tells the story of how Anselm took some of the altar boys at the St. Francis parish to see Rosemary's Baby.
Ooh,
what?
Yeah,
What?
the Mia Farrow, the whole bit.
Wow.
This priest is taking these altar boys to see Rosemary's Baby. It was great. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of them. Damn it.
Oh. No.
That book, I've never seen the movie. I read the book. The book freaked me out.
I feel like I've heard of it, but I'm not entirely sure what it is.
It's the movie story of a young couple that move into a high upper class like New York apartment, and their neighbors are Satanists, and she's either pregnant or they take her and they impregnate her with Satan's child.
Mm-hmm.
Fun times.
So she gives birth to the son of Satan.
Sweet. Sounds like
directed by Roman Polanski, so of course everybody's going to love it.
Ah.
I'm trying to remember who wrote the book. Was it Ira Levin?
I don't remember.
Yes, it was Ira Levin.
Okay.
Who also wrote a few more.
Yeah, she wrote a sequel. There's Rosemary's Baby, and then I think the Son of Rosemary.
I wonder what the Son of Satan would do during its rebellious phase.
Interesting question.
Oh my! Books written by Levin were okay. A Kiss Before Dying, Rosemary's Baby, Stepford Wives, Boys from Brazil, the play Death Trap. Yeah, nice CV.
Happy-go-lucky books, one and all.
Oh my! Let's grab this. We're going to copy that. We're just going to throw that over
AKA,
here.
I'm not Catholic. I'm not getting this. You're lucky.
Oh man, Catholicism is definitely a stain on humanity.
Well, the thing is, my mother is Catholic. My father's side of the family is Protestant. It's interesting, but my dad is the liberal black sheep of the family.
Okay.
So, love him. He's the bomb diggity. And so he had missed. He had gone into the military and had missed on my dad, on his family having a Protestant a deeper Protestant revolution of their own, where they went full fundamental. And and so he came back and he was like, I mean, I guess if that's what you're doing, I'll give it a shot. And he went to one of their masses and spent the whole time just getting screamed at. And he was like, no.
Screw this. Yeah.
Be gone.
My
he's
sister
Methodist, but has never gone to a Methodist church since.
Okay.
So.
My sister went full bore Pentecostal. And my word, she was so annoying. I never ran into a more annoying person than my sister when she was Pentecostal. She was annoying as a Catholic, but after she converted, it was even worse. Now, the slimy bastards wore their Catholicism as an identity badge. No. They couldn't recite a plank of Catholic dogma to save their lives, but it was one of these us and them things going on. And obviously, I was one of them. Which, was fine. I was used to that.
Yeah. No. My family, my sister is actually getting confirmed in the next year or so. But they, since I explained to them, other stuff that happened, they were always super understanding, but even more so, they're like, okay, yeah, no, we get why you don't want to really step foot in a church, even if we do have a good priest now, because it's no, you can't just erase all of that stuff that happened. But my mom even went to the leader of my sister's youth group, which is a different thing than I was in, and she had told her, the woman had asked why I didn't go to church, and my mom explained that I went to a bad youth conference, and she gave the name of the conference, the other woman did, without my mom telling her. She was just oh, it's Steubenville. And my mom was like, yeah, because apparently, I'm not the only one who came back from that. And
I've heard of that conference.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, the first time I had heard of it was slightly before you were talking about it.
Yeah. It's.
Yeah. That whole New England experience of yours may be part of it. I grew up in the Midwest. Well, I grew up in an area, the Midwesterners are fighting for it, and the East Coasters are fighting. I grew up in Ohio.
Yeah. Which is where it is.
Yeah. The conference is Steubenville, which is right on the West Virginia border where the Panhandle is. I grew up in Cleveland. And they're all. I love the way my history teacher in high school put it. You know how there are the WASPs, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestants?
Yes.
The area that I grew up in had WUPICs, white Ukrainian, Italian, Polish Catholics.
I literally live near Rome.
Okay.
Like Italian. Like this is an Italian area of New York State. Yeah.
Guys, I'm gonna step out.
Okay.
I'm tired and not feeling well. I put a link in the private chat to the video, the next video, Atheist Pastor, so that you can copy and paste that out if you need.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, I'm gonna go lay down.
Pastor, he's starting what in about an hour?
Yeah, about an hour.
Okay, and then after that is Purple
Purple's,
again. Right?
Purple's closing out one.
Okay.
Bye.
And
Bye.
my sound on
Take care, sweetness.
on recovering just dropped, so I'm going to have to step out and step back in.
Okay. I'll be sure you come back in.
Yeah. Did you know about the notification on the settings? If you look on the right side of your screen, there's a button that says settings.
Yeah.
If you click that and you go in there, there's one that says audio on entry or something like that.
Okay.
And if you click that, when somebody appears down below, it'll post a little ping so you can be like, oh, hey, somebody's here.
Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. It says, hold on a second. Okay, so it's in settings.
Yep.
Settings. There's general, then camera.
Maybe audio.
Audio.
Yeah, click audio.
Okay, it's showing my audio. It's saying disable audio processing.
Next one down.
Okay, guests. Play a sound when guests answer.
Yeah, that's what you want to turn on.
Okay.
That way, when she comes back and down there, she'll ping, and you don't have to keep paying attention.
Perfect. Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah, I like that. Meet is good about that as well, where somebody wants to come in, and I'll hear a knock on the door, and I will let them in. I like that control you have over letting people in or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Sleep good.
Be good.
Okay. Also, AKL is asking, you used to be a Catholic living in Steubenville, Ohio. No, you were saying that you lived in a different area of Ohio?
Who, me?
You. Yeah, that's what one of the questions is.
I lived in Cleveland.
Yeah. Okay. Just clarifying that for AKL.
Spent half my life there, and then the other half I'm here in Pittsburgh.
Does anybody actually live in Cleveland, though?
Believe it or not, there are a couple people who manage life even in the smoldering hell that is Cleveland.
Oh my gosh.
It's improved a lot since I left. I don't know if there's a connection or not. I left back in 88. And it was starting to get its act together. And it was doing a lot better when I went back. I went back in 2007 when my sister died, and I got to look around, and much improved, I will say.
It was trying to improve, and so that way you would want to come back.
Yeah, we miss you, whoever you are. You looked a little different when you were here before. You know?
Just a little. Just small changes.
Just a little, yeah, you know.
Minor cosmetic differences.
Why did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame get stuck in Ohio? Cleveland, of all places.
Oh, one of the early personalities in radio rock and roll was at a Cleveland station. I think it was Ellen Freed.
Oh, really?
Let me look that up and just make sure that I'm not full of shit here. Why is Rock and Roll. There we go. Why is Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland? Yeah, that's it. Citing that WJW disc jockey Alan Freed both coined the term rock and roll and heavily promoted the new genre, and that Cleveland was the location of Freed's Moondog Coronation Ball, the first rock and roll concert. That was why Cleveland was lobbying, and WMMS played a role in that as well. The rock and roll station with the buzzard, and it seems that they were playing with the ballot boxes when they were doing that, but that's another story entirely. Um, but yeah, it was Alan Freed that played a pivotal role there. Well, the existence of Alan Freed and Freed being in Cleveland and all that shit. Um, I don't know. I really don't care. I much prefer Severance Hall to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, home of the Cleveland Orchestra. I was the one in high school while the other kids were doing the Led Zeppelin and the other stuff like that. And I'm listening to Beethoven and some Mozart and Tchaikovsky and that sort of thing. I was a weird one. I still am weird. You know that already.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a good thing.
So readily agrees when I say I'm weird.
Weird isn't necessarily a bad
I don't know if I'd brag about that, Diana.
Hey, it's my claim to fame. Come on now.
No,
Oh shit.
I kind of get that. I went to.
Yeah, but you're living in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I suppose there are better places I could live, but I had come here to be with someone that lasted a year, and I couldn't afford to leave, so here I am 31 years later.
The treachery.
Say again?
The treachery.
Yes, absolutely.
Being stuck there. I mean, hey, I still live in my parents' home.
Okay.
And again, though, 24. So that's all right.
I would, oh man, I tell you, it got to the point where I would rather have killed myself than live under their roof.
No.
There was a point where near the end, they were still talking to me, but they soon would not. She put the question, have you ever given thought to moving in with us and taking care of me? And I didn't say a word, but I was thinking very loudly, you've got to be fucking kidding. After the way you treated me when I was a kid, and I know that I would have the last shred of independence taken from me for the remainder of your lives, which was another 6 or 7 years at that point. No, it's not going to happen.
No.
And it was not that long after that I finally had to come out, and then they just disowned me because I'm trans. So it worked out.
Yeah.
No problem there.
No, my parents, I'm very lucky that my parents are really good, and they also, for any of my friends, because I have a lot of trans friends, a lot of other people who are in the GSRM community, and my parents are always like, yeah, no, they need new parents. They're ours now. They're our children. So I would extend that offer to you, but I believe that you and they are about the same age.
Yeah, I'm 62.
Okay, yeah, no. My mom's. I'm going to be a bad child and say that I don't remember my mom's own age, and she's right upstairs.
No, when I was born, Eisenhower was president.
No, she has to be 55, because my sister is 55, 58. 58, I think.
Okay.
My sister is 15, and she turned like 43 right after.
Yeah, I'm the old lady. I think Jen is the only person more ancient than I am. Gotcha.
Oh,
I have this big stick that needs a home.
Someplace warm and dark, right?
I mean, what was it that I had guessed your age to be when we had like a private chat going? I think I had guessed you were like 30.
Who, Jen?
Jen, I think I had guessed that
The
you.
sound's breaking up. I'm missing a lot.
No, I think when we had that group like video sort of message session, I think I had guessed that you were like in your 30s, maybe 40s,
Maybe, but
something
I
like that.
still haven't heard all you've said, so I'm not sure. The
Okay.
StreamYards does is it breaks up, and I only hear every half of every word you say,
Oh dear.
and so I'm not really sure what you said, and it's starting to do it
StreamYard is
again.
so
So I may have
lovely,
to
isn't it?
just bomb out of here.
Ugh. Dang. Audio really
Yeah,
ruining.
this is the other reason for getting Meets or Zoom is it doesn't do this.
Yeah,
StreamYards is the only program I have problems with.
I'm
Ooh.
partial to meat. Zoom kills my Linux. Everybody else tells me they have no problem with it, but when Jeff went to Zoom on movie night, it gave me problems right from the start. It would make
Ooh.
my machine slow down and eventually crash.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, damn it. So that's when I ended up getting Windows 10, and I
Mm-hmm.
have this machine dual booted.
Yeah.
Um, and then we did a whole bunch of going around using different systems, um, going back and forth from Meet to Zoom to Meet. And I think he may have thrown something else in there. He may have used StreamYard at one point. I don't know. I don't remember these things because you have to understand that when you get old, the memory is the second thing to go, and I forget what the first is. Yeah, pretty much. And
That's a good one. I like that one. Oh dear. Yeah,
I
no.
wish I could remember where I heard that one.
I mean, this is my first live streaming thing, so like this
Yeah,
was just what I had.
everybody has to start somewhere.
Yeah. I'm getting a new webcam as well, like one that can attach to this because this is just straight off of the camera. But
I'm kind of partial to the Logitech C920 or whatever the replacement for it
yeah,
is.
I think the one that I ordered like tonight was a Logitech maybe. Um, as well as though I need to get a new battery for this laptop because if that charger cord doesn't stay plugged in, then I have no laptop.
It's
You if you were to increase your light on you, you would improve your picture quality immensely. You do
I
not
would
have
do
enough
that.
light spilling on you.
I would do that, but I'm getting a bit of a migraine, which is not very helpful. But
fun.
it's not the greatest when tomorrow I have work and my job involves staring at computer screens. So don't not exactly a fan of that. Um, although I do have my
I'm not making.
sunglasses that I could.
I'm not hearing anything, you guys. I'm gonna butt out.
Oh dear. Okay. I hope you have a good evening.
I hope so too. I'm sad that I have to leave. I was enjoying this.
Oh, feel free to
Dag
feel free
nabbit.
to hang out in the chat at least.
Well, it's StreamYard telling you that you're a sinner.
See,
Oh
I
dear.
take offense to that, but I don't believe they exist. So screw that.
Got him.
I love that whole
All right. Well,
Calvinist approach. Anyway,
Uh,
well. Good night, kids.
good night.
night, night,
I'll be jumping
sweetness.
in the chat.
Oh
Yay.
boy, yay,
Okay.
yay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yay, yay,
Ah.
yay. Yeah, did I mention I'm weird?
That's okay.
I make a career of it.
Oh, I mean, honestly, that would be the dream. I No, I love weird. The entire family's weird. Like, we're born and bred it.
Yeah, my family was weird, but they were the annoying type of weird.
Bad weird.
Yeah, not the endearing type. There's a
No,
difference. Yeah.
trust me, I'm well aware of the bad weird. Like there was a woman who attempted to pretend I was her child.
Ooh, fun.
It wasn't pretty. Um, and by it wasn't pretty, I mean it's a good thing my mom has restraint. Because she was ready to kill.
Amiga nuts. I am sure that I had the latest stable version because I went directly to Zoom to download and made sure they everything. Now, as far as the dependencies are concerned, maybe there was something hanging open. I'm not sure. That might have something to do with it.
I have no idea.
But really not up to fooling around with it at the moment because I'm doing enough with Meet and OBS, trying to get my the look and feel, if you want to call it that, of my show up where I want it. We're getting there. We're just about there. And now what I
Nearly
need
there.
is people to answer my requests, and say, "Hey, how would you like to come on my show?" And the least they could do is, give me a call and say, "No, never."
Be gone.
Yeah, and as I say, Amiga Nuts, there is that open question. I may or may not have had all the dependencies resolved. That might have something to do with it. I don't know. But as far as the latest and greatest, yeah, I did have that. And the interesting thing is that with I'm trying to remember if it was it Zoom or was it something else that eventually it wouldn't run at all on my Ubuntu 14
Ooh.
system. Well, it's not 14 isn't supported anymore. It's reached end of life. I was hanging on to it because I really didn't want to reinstall. I didn't want to install a new one and everything, and that sort of thing. And I finally did. And I have
Yeah.
16 on both of my machines now, so I'm still 2 versions behind, but I'm slow. No big
It
deal.
happens.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I see that up there. If you breathe, you're sinning. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair. Like, because technically, at least for Catholics, it's, you're born a sinner.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that's that whole Calvinist thing too, as well. Seitan Bruggencate has that whole thing, the depravity thing.
yeah. It's like right out
And
the sin.
I don't know if anybody else does this, but I know the Catholics do the thought crime. I mean,
Whoa.
if you've thought about it, just stay home. You've already sinned.
No. That's definitely a major thing because I know I actually got connected to Neil. Did you say his name was Beelzebub?
Oh, Beelzebub.
Yeah,
Beelzebub is Bubba.
Bubba.
Neil is the 604 atheist.
Okay, so I got connected to Bubba and via Mr. Atheist
Okay.
uh, Reddit, and he actually has talked about on his channel how for the Mormons, thought crime was definitely a thing. Where it's
Okay,
like,
okay.
where it's like if you're thinking it, then you're already bad out the gate, and you need to talk about it and be absolved of it.
Yeah, because I remember Carlin years and years ago going on, if you're sitting at home thinking, I'm going to go to 42nd Street and commit a mortal sin, save your car fare. You did it.
You did it. You did it, kid. You thought something bad. You thought
Oh,
something.
man.
You thought something wrong. Congrats,
I miss him. I really do.
Oh, no, it's a big thing. Like even like with the group that I was in, Life Team, they often also had the whole like, unless if you do not give of yourself physically, financially, emotionally until you are destitute yourself, you are self.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
even if you're
Mhm.
trying to do something for your own mental health, if you could be spending that time helping somebody else, you're an awful person. Like, even though like a lot of the stuff that they really hammered into us was not something that the priest was actually teaching. And like,
Okay.
and unfortunately, they would have us for longer each weekend than the priest did, and would be like, and they would also intersperse it with, oh, they're going to give us food, and they're giving us a social life, and and so then it was
Yeah,
like
but with a
at
social
what
life like
cost?
that, who needs isolation?
I
Really?
know. And like even to this day, there are like there were members of that group that I had been pretty close to, at least I thought, and now at least one of them, he has no idea who I am. Like he dated my best friend, who I'm still best friends with, and he has no idea who I am.
Wait, it's as if he doesn't recognize you, or
I don't know.
he has cast you asunder,
I
or
can't even tell. I'm like, how would you not know who I am? I dated one of your friends before, long before I realized Bridget was not into boys. And it was just like, we've known each other for over 20 years nearly. Like, what the hell? And
wow,
he's just like, who? I'm like, boy.
man, that sounds cultish. If it sounds like anything.
Oh, the the youth group definitely was fairly culty. Um,
Well, well,
and
Bub
they
did the whole
even,
thing.
like, unfortunately, also even like us who were in it, some of us accidentally formed another cult for a time
Oops.
because we were already so deep in this one, but then other things happened, and then suddenly I found myself in a smaller group from this group, being told who I was expected to marry and have children with. And I was like,
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I was 15 when that happened, and I told the guy, I was like, because I had accidentally helped him start this group.
Oops.
It went from let's be ghost hunters like the TV shows to you're going to marry this dude and you are currently pregnant with the spirits of your future children
Oh
in a
man,
week.
that sounds like Triatiel's story. I have you run into Triatiel at all?
I haven't.
She's an ex-Mormon,
Ooh.
and she tells stories about what was expected, especially of the girls
Yeah.
back in those days, and how they don't like her and hers very much. Tria is ace,
Yes.
and they're not at all approving.
No, I'm also ace myself.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. No, this was a group that was like formed from members of the Catholic group, including the dude who allegedly has no memory of me now. And we and like I don't know, it just went crazy in the course of the week because one of the guys, like the guy who was like leading the charge on this, has issues, several, clearly. But he claimed to be able to speak to the Greek gods. The crazy thing is, as well as because he had to work his Catholicism in there as well, he claimed that the Greek gods were real, that he was somehow the son of two male gods, and that the real Catholic God is actually the God of the gods.
That sounds kind of Gnostic in its own way.
It went wild. And thankfully he didn't have the patience at all to really cultivate this, and so he built it up and escalated in a week. And I gave him the excuse, oh, I'm really sorry, but as an honor student I have too much homework, so I really can't dedicate my time to this.
Okay.
And he took it, and then we had stopped being friends like a couple years later, but then he eventually like reached out to me again, and he was like, we had like after the cult thing we were still friends, but he then tried to tell me that if I stopped calling him my brother he would date me. Ew. And but a year after that he then was like, oh hey, I'm getting the group back together. And I'm like, what group? And he reminded me of it, and I was like, oh that group. I'm afraid I have too much college homework. I can't do it.
I have to wash my hair.
And so I managed to get out of a cult that I accidentally helped start twice via homework. So do your homework, kids.
Oh, jeez.
You never know when it may help you.
Yeah.
It was insane. And yes, it definitely was a psychological rabbit hole, both the original group as well as this subgroup that formed for a brief time. Because it was like
crazy.
It was hella manipulative. If Amigo Nuts wants to or has, go over to Bubba's channel, because we covered actually the various techniques that Life Team used on us, of like love bombing on his end, but also for me at least it was a let's break you down and then we're gonna fill in the spaces.
Sounds like boot camp.
Yeah, but it was fun. Like I at the time I genuinely enjoyed myself, but looking back I'm like, I went through those events crying an awful lot, like because they would bring up things that they knew were upsetting to me, and then be like, oh, but we're here to comfort you, we're here for you, we're here when you need us. Which again, look, and so they would time things perfectly in the evening, where they would start out fun. Sometimes they would stay fun throughout the whole time, but if they could, they would bring up something emotionally hard-hitting, making us all very upset or angry, and then conclude it with something fun, happy again, to make us leave feeling like we had a good time.
And leave feeling that they had rescued you from this bad feeling and everything else.
Exactly.
And yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that they had provided comfort and help to us in ways that no therapist could possibly cure us like God. It was
Well, it's not very often that the therapist causes the problem. So the whole Munchausen syndrome by proxy, basically.
It was. For me in particular, and I do have my brother's permission to talk about it.
Okay.
He had separated from our family for a while, and that separation really hurt. And he had been in Life Teen when he was younger. And so a lot of these members knew him. And that, like, and so they decided that since they knew that it was upsetting me, they would bring him up all the time. And they would be like, oh, he was such a good guy. And, oh, have you seen him? We saw him at such and such a place. And it was like a constant sort of like drudging it up and everything. Or they would also just look. And then when I would be like, no, he hasn't talked to me. No, he hasn't seen me. They would just be like, oh, you poor thing. I'm sure. Just keep your prayers up. And it's like, no, that unless God's idea of fixing things was to kill my grandpas in 1 year, which then brought my brother back to us because of funerals and stuff, which then started us. I don't think God was involved in this. But thankfully we're on much better terms now.
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing.
I rated my experiences against. I'm not actually sure what the bite model is, so let me Google that real quick.
It's a set of initials, and I'm trying to remember offhand what it is, because that's what Bub was doing a show on, or a series of shows on, is Catholicism a cult based on the bite model?
Let me
look
it up.
Behavioral, intellectual, some shit. I'm trying to.
Okay. Let me see. Develop the bite model. Come on. Behavioral control, information control, thought control, emotional control. Oh, absolutely. I can definitely.
There you are. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the thought stopping technique. The thought stopping technique, actually, it looks like all of those were actually things that people in Steubenville claimed to be experiencing during the adoration as the Holy Spirit.
Oh, Lord.
The chanting, meditating, praying, speaking in tongues, singing or humming, as well as shrieking and passing out. It was.
Okay, then, yeah.
No, you know what? I'm going to go through this. Maybe that can be one of the first videos that I do on my channel. Go through the bite model, checking off all of the ones that.
Yeah, I remember when Bob and Zach were going through the bite model. I think they concluded that Catholicism was barely on the line of being a cult.
Yeah. No.
And I can see the logic in that. Definitely.
Catholicism itself would maybe barely qualify. However, it is the separate groups within it that can be the issue.
Yeah, like think Opus Dei.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No, like Life Teen, at least especially the branch that I was in, they definitely. Oh my goodness. I'll talk more about it, but once I actually get videos going on this channel. But like one of the events that they had was at a different, smaller retreat, and they took random groups of people because they didn't want everyone from the same church going to the same like smaller events within this one retreat, and they had grabbed like me, another girl from my church, and then a guy from my church. And they brought us all into a room with like other people, other kids from other churches, separated us by boys and girls.
Of course.
And they taught us girls chastity stuff, and then they were like, okay, we're going to have you guys repeat after us, or they had us memorize. It's been a couple of years, but it was something like, look, we had to say something.
Hey, look, speak of the devil. Hey, Bob.
Hi, Bob. Where are you?
He just came into the side chat. Let me. Oh no! Wait a minute.
Oh, show.
Why am I always thinking I'm running the show? This is your circus.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how to get this to down. There we go. Okay.
Have you got the here? If he's okay, what I can do is.
Okay. Over here.
Where's the foo-foo thing? Do you know about the foo-foo thing?
The foo-foo thing?
Yes. It is very foo-foo, and it is a thing. And that is why it is the foo-foo thing. And now if you're gonna hang around me at all, you're gonna find out very quickly that I am just totally just batshit bonkers. Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Benny, give me a minute here, would you? There you are. And next, if you feel like coming in, Bub.
Oh yeah.
I hope you don't mind my doing this. I'm throwing a link at him.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and there we are. Look at that.
Yay. Oh.
And I still have not just a little thing up there, so that's I'll have to take care of that later. Here, why don't I just let's really screw this whole thing up. Into the thing over here, I'm pasting. Nutjob needs a new computer, so if you feel like donating, just go ahead and pick up that PayPal link and throw him some cash. And remember, Australian dollars go farther than U.S. dollars. I'm sorry, U.S. dollars take you farther than Australian dollars. So one U.S. dollar is worth more than one Australian dollar. So throw him a couple of them, and you'll be fine. And he'll have a computer and stuff. And yes, Fufu thing equals whatchamacallit.
Okay.
It is the for example, it is, let's see. It is the no. Oh, get over here. And stuff like that. Yeah.
I like that.
And those mean whatever you want them to mean whenever you want them to mean it.
Just a generalized.
It is the Agfu, it is the Boo-Foo, and it is all full of poo. Yes, it's full of poo-poo, so full of poo-poo. Anyway. Yeah, we're on topic, aren't we?
Oh my gosh.
I'm not making this all about me. No.
That's okay. I'm a very shy individual.
Yeah. And you would have no idea how shy I am. Yeah. Oh man, it took me at least 3 weeks to tell Kate I had a 93-ton crush on her. So that got me where I needed to go. Yeah, it's like, no, that's not happening.
No. Oh goodness.
Oh well.
Oh my goodness, my neck.
Agfu always comes before Boo-Foo. Yes, you're learning.
I like it. I like that. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want to get up at 6 in the morning.
Oh man, usually the only reason I'm up at 6 a.m. is because I've been up all night. Yeah.
Oop. Okay. Add to stream.
That
Hello.
was fast.
Hey, sweetness. Hi.
I'm disappointed in you, by the way, recovering Catholic. You were supposed to let me know you had your channel live.
I'm sorry.
I'm disappointed in you, by the way, recovering. Oops.
You're gonna
Hold on. You were supposed. That's better.
You're gonna flog her with overcooked lasagna.
I don't know. I heard something about overcooked lasagna from Diana, and so real quick, who's familiar with Cards Against Humanity?
Oh, absolutely.
Yay!
So one of my Christmas presents was the bigger, blacker box. And what may not be a well-known fact about the bigger, blacker box is it comes with a unique card that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
Mine says a laid-back man with a smooth taint.
Also, doesn't the bigger, blacker box come with, in the parts of the box, it has those hidden cards?
It might. I haven't looked yet.
You'd have to check, like, it's about in the middle of both the top and the bottom, I believe. In the cardboard. You have to, like, cut it out. I think it's the bigger, blacker box. It was something that I'd heard of via
So you
TikTok.
I don't know how badly I want to destroy it because it's meant to like house all the other decks.
Oh, no. You don't have to destroy it. It's like a thin layer of paper that you have to get underneath. It doesn't destroy the whole box.
Yeah, I'll
So,
have to
feel, like, take the lid off and then, like, feel for it, I think. Or you could
Feeling
Google it.
for
to
it?
double check
That
it's
sounds
still
good
something
already.
that they do, so that way you don't go feeling a box like an idiot.
Oh. Yeah, so that's
I
my
could
new
take
card.
that places, but I'll be a good girl.
Soon to be appearing on Twitter.
Uh,
I love it. Could have been a really weak, unfunny one. No, it's great.
it's like, bitcha. I actually, I donated to their thing when they were buying a piece of land that Trump wanted for the wall. And so I got all of those cards from it.
Nice.
I love it, which is great, especially when I think of how much certain people in my life like that man's politics. It's great to like have those and be like, there's sanity in the world. I promise there's sanity in the world.
I don't know if they were in any shape to do it. They might not have been in any shape to leave the house because my understanding is their demise was not pretty. But had they been able to get to a voting booth, I have no doubt that those two would have cast their votes joyfully for Donald Trump. He was an absolute Nazi. When it came to shit like, and she was whatever he wanted her to be.
The perfect woman.
Yep.
Like what?
She wore a certain hairstyle for most of her adult life because he liked it.
Yeah. No. One of my uncles seems to have found out that I got engaged to a woman, and he has not really spoken to us since. The last time he was up here, he would not really look me in the eye. I was like, ooh. But you know what? You know what though? He made for 2 years as his Christmas posts on Facebook his detailed explanation as to how and why President Obama was the actual Antichrist. Like, detailed.
Well, I mean, we're clearly talking about a guy who doesn't know what the Bible has to say because Antichrist is not singular; it's plural.
Yeah.
No.
And it's anyone that is against Christ. So anyone that isn't some kind of Christian, or the right kind of Christian, I guess.
There you go. That's more like it.
Or anyone that is, actively opposed to Jesus.
Yeah. Well, he also is very much like my grandpa on that side, who told my Catholic mother that because she was raising my sister and I Catholic, she was dragging my father and the rest of us to hell with her. And she, I love her. She told him, "I'll see you there," or something along those lines.
All right.
And considering at the man's funeral, we were asked to say something about him that we liked, just like everyone who was gathered there.
Oh boy.
There was silence for a while. To the point that their preacher was like, somebody
tugging at his collar. Yeah, So what? Did somebody finally walk up to the front and say, "Yeah, the nice thing is he's dead"?
Oh no! Nobody even stood up. We were just like sitting there, and somebody called out, he loved music and he played it. And somebody else was like, he was very dedicated to his church. And somebody else was, he was dedicated to his church and he played music.
It sounds like the festivities at the funeral of my ex's mother.
Yeah.
The same sort of thing occurred where the presiding officer or whatever this guy was, go around and your favorite memories, and there was absolute silence for about a minute and a half.
My favorite though part of that funeral and everything was the reception afterwards. We went to my grandma's house, and she mostly had been upset because like this was someone she had spent a lot of her time with, and she had been the one to find his body, so like that was upsetting. But at the reception, they were talking about how they had found indecent things that my grandfather was doing. Yeah, including hiding porn in the children's video cabinet that was specifically meant for the grandkids.
Okay.
And
we had a little Chester the Molester going on here, or what?
A little bit.
Okay.
But she, but my mom and dad were sort of quietly talking about it a little bit, and she had turned to him and was like, "Yeah, if you did that, I would kill you." And my grandma, for the first time, I was 16 at the time. This was the first time I'd ever heard her tell a joke. She said, "Yeah, if I caught Roger, my grandfather's name, with that, I would have killed him." The entire room went silent, because like again, this was his funeral reception, and she said that so boldly, and I laughed, and she like shrunk in on herself for a second, and she was like, "Too soon?" And I was like, "No, that was great." And I gave her a high five. Because then when he had donated his body to science, so she had to get his ashes back later. When she got the ashes back, she kept him in her car for a month because she didn't want to take him into her new house.
Oh, it sounds like one of my uncles.
Yeah, and then we took him into our car for like 2 months. We then put him in the cupboard under the stairs after I pointed out that saying that the box held my grandfather and it was freaking out my friends. We forgot to bury him for 2 years.
All right.
So I mean, if there's anything, if hell exists and there's ways to get into it, I think that and or the jokes that we made when we finally like dropped his box in there, because we didn't even take him out of the shipping box. to bury him.
Oh, jeez. All right. No ceremony at all. Just,
no, the only ceremonious part of it that we did was we had a moment of silence at one point that we then my uncle broke by going, "All right, let's go." As well as he had just sort of plopped the box in, and my grandma looked over and she said, "Can you flip it over or something? I don't want him. The shipping label could be seen from here. I don't want him getting sent back." So the port. Now, meanwhile, the whole time, the guy who dug the hole for this was standing there. He has no idea.
This is fun.
He just knows that we're just like, and making jokes. Like, my uncle made a joke about, "Oh, I'm checking for snakes in the pit." Like, just like, it was. If there's such a thing as respecting for the dead, we definitely weren't doing that. But then again,
it's just too bad. You speak of this sort of stuff, and it's too bad I was disowned when it finally came out as trans, because I would have loved to have seen the revelry at the funerals of each of the slimy bastards. I have a feeling that my cousins and stuff were hanging around those two because they thought they were going to get something out of it.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that they spent it all on terminal care. So I can imagine the cousins, who are assholes anyway, were bitching and moaning that they didn't even get anything for their trouble. It was like, okay.
No, we actually, in looking through everything after he had died, they found evidence of him having multiple affairs. They found that he had attempted to secretly make another will, in which he would try and give my grandmother nothing, not even the house, not even the cars that she owned. He would give her, if their marriage was good at the time of his death, the things in the linen closet.
Well then.
Yeah.
Great guy.
He was lovely. It was quite a contrast between him and my other grandfather, who, when the not so favorite grandfather died, my grandpa Jim had just had a heart attack, but he went to my grandma on my other side and was like, "Hey, I'll escape the nursing home to come comfort you." And my grandma had to go to the nursing home where he was recovering from a heart attack to be like, "You need to stay here. You had a heart attack 3 days ago. Like, you only have a quarter of your heart working." And he's like, "I don't care."
Sounds like a really great guy.
He was. I love him. Unfortunately, he also passed that same year. But you know what? He outlived the other one. So, like, good on him.
I don't know. It may be horrible of me. It may not be horrible of me. I mean, he died first.
Yeah.
In September of 2016. And when she finally died in 2017, I'm hoping that she died abjectly alone. Ooh. Isolated, just the way she intended her kids live.
Yeah. No, there's someone who I feel the same way about. And when that person dies, I plan to like as soon as the mourners have left, like, I'm going to be classy about it. I'm going to salt the grave so that way nothing grows there.
I like it.
It's a genius plan. It's very simple. And, I'm really salty about the way that they lived, so.
Mm-hmm. The thing I found interesting is the way I discovered that those two were dead. I would occasionally perform a Google search on my dead name because there were, fewer than a dozen of us that had that name,
Yeah.
which is Zavarke, by the way.
Mhm.
Everybody knows already, so that's no big deal. And at one point on the search, a photograph of a gravestone turned up.
Ooh.
This was late 2017, a little bit after I got back from viewing the solar eclipse. And I checked the dates and the names, and yeah, they were right, and it had to be those two.
Yeah.
They had already been, she had been dead since May of that year. He had been dead since September of the previous year. And I'm pissed that nobody bothered to tell me that they had died because I would have loved to have delivered the eulogy and listed every
Oh.
one of their sins, one after another.
Oh my God.
But nope, wouldn't have, wasn't to be. So
No.
every now and then I think about writing because they dropped me when those two dropped me, and
Yeah.
after being all supportive, that was the fun part. When I first came out to them. Oh, this is great, wonderful. You're yourself, and you're being you, and everything's good. And then those two started going crazy, and didn't hear a word from them. And it was like, well, then they're bitching at me for making them drop me. Oh shit! It was fun. That's
Amazing.
okay. I don't have to put up with them. There was one who was talking to me because they didn't like her either, and unfortunately, I found out that she runs a puppy mill.
Oh dear.
So, none of that shit. And then she's also the kind that I don't care about it, so it can just go to hell. I was mentioning the stuff that was going on in Ohio with the abortion legislation. Oh, I'm past that age, so I don't care. It's like, oh.
Okay. All right. So
It's
you
like,
don't care about anything. No, I was.
no.
No, I actually, when the stuff was going down in Georgia before, I believe they've now declared it, they declared it illegal based off of federal standings to do so. I had posted like, hey, if there's anyone who needs to get those sort of services and come up to New York, let me know. I will be that friend from college that you need to visit.
Okay, then.
Because also there's like, because also with the specifications of those laws, miscarriages, like natural miscarriages, as well as the reabsorption of fertilized cells would be considered a crime.
Yeah.
And considering I apparently, like, when my mom was pregnant with me, there was apparently a second sac forming, but then it just disappeared. So they were like, who knows? But one of
there might have been more where you came from.
There might have been, and so like either that was reabsorbed into her body, or I had absorbed it. Like, we'd never really be able to tell. So technically, I could have been under those laws born committing a felony,
Oh,
which would be great because I can't really commit a felony now. I walk with a cane. It's really kind of difficult to do.
Okay.
Isn't America a great country?
Oh,
It's
isn't
great.
it though?
It's
Yeah. By the way,
that happened.
Land of the somewhat free and home of the not very brave.
there you go. Atheist Pastor just dropped in and said, "Hi, y'all. Here's the link for the next leg of the relay," and I don't see a link yet. So,
I tried to. Pirate Kitty had sent me a link as well. I tried to load it into the description, and I don't know if it actually took. But I can drop it down here if it's still the right link.
when I tried to get there from the link that was in the DM, there we go. Okay, you've got that. Let me have the look at that and see if where the hell is the pointer? Oh, okay. You don't have a. No, you've got to have a wrench in your own place, but that's okay. We're not going to worry about that.
Okay.
Just going to drop that in there and see if it works. Yeah, it's working. Your link is indeed working. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. We have the little snowman on the beach and love, peace, and joy, atheist style. And okay, almost like love American style, love atheist style. Oh, for the love of St. Kulik. Yeah. We're coming down to the end of this thing. That's the amazing thing.
I think Atheist Pastor, and then there's one more.
Atheist Pastor, and then Purple.
Yep.
Who's doing his usual show. And there we go. Atheist Pastor just started broadcasting.
Alrighty.
So, we can sort of chase everybody over there and make sure he's not lonely.
Okay.
Yay!
Bye.
Have fun, kids, and be good.
And head on over.
I don't know why you would want to, but
I was going to say, just ignore everything Diana just said.
yeah, pretty much. Everybody ignores me anyway,
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh my! Thanks everybody for coming by. Seriously.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Recovering Catholic. She's that way.
Yes, absolutely.
I can never get this straight.
Hopefully, I'll be making videos in the new year. So long as my health doesn't take another downturn. Oh, cool. Hi, AKO. Hi, AKO. Okay. All right, I'm going to be ending this, so head on over to... All right. Bye.
Yay!
Hey, everybody.
End it.
There
we go.